Lagos. Good morning, Lagos. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Today is the 18th day of August 2026. The 18th day of August 2026. It is the 18th day, the 8th month of 2026. Glad you could you will be spending your breakfast time with us here this morning. This is Overt Radio. We are broadcasting to you live from the city of Lagos. Lagos is a center of excellence, the city that never sleeps. It is the breakfast show, and this breakfast show is being sponsored by Lifeback Pharmacy and Stores Limited, market house of Ogama QS Soft Gel and Swedish Bitters. Swedish Bitters drink, if you want to call it a drink, but it's a medicinal drink. Okay, now let's get things started here on Overt Radio. This is what we do every morning, Monday to Friday, between the hours of 8 o'clock and 10 a.m. every day, every working day, Monday to Friday. We bring you analysis of some of the stories making headlines on the various online newspapers. We also talk about political update, discuss and analyze some of the political activities that have been going on in the country lately, and also other things that might interest our listeners, that might be of concern to Nigerians here in the country. All right, let's get things started for the breakfast show, where I'll be analyzing some of the stories making headlines today on the 18th day, today Tuesday, the 18th day of August 2026. You can go to our various social media platforms on X, Overt Radio Live on Instagram, Overt News. You can also go to our TikTok account, overt.radio.lagos. We are currently streaming on YouTube at the moment. That is Overt Radio Live. So feel free to interact with our content, engage with our content, where we post interviews, our live talk shows, where we stream on our programs. So these are the things that you can engage yourself with on our various social media platform. Once again, on TikTok, overt.radio.lagos, on X, Overt Radio Live, on Instagram, Overt News, and on YouTube, Overt Radio Live. So we will urge you to send that streaming link to your viewers on WhatsApp statuses and contact Zeno, zeno.fm/radio/Overt Radio. All right, so let's get things started this morning. My first story that I will be talking about this morning is Osun State election, despite the fact that Ademola Adeleke was declared winner on Sunday. The stories about concerning that is still trending here in the country, so we will not get enough of it until every aspect of that election has died down. But there have been reactions concerning that election, and it was one of the key cycle elections that took place after the 2023 general elections. All right, yes, the first headline, the Sun newspaper: Osun UK warns on vote buying, Beavers lapses, hails Adeleke. The United Kingdom has raised concerns over vote buying, voter interference, and challenges associated with the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS during last Saturday's governorship election in Osun State, even as it congratulated Governor Ademola Adeleke on his re-election. The British High Commission, in a statement issued in Abuja yesterday, commended the people of Osun State for their peaceful and active participation in the August 15, 2026 governorship election, and said the experience should provide lessons for the 2027 general elections. The commission said it had met with a range of stakeholders before the election and deployed accredited observers to monitor the exercise. According to the British government, the observations of its team, together with findings from credible independent observer groups with wider deployment across the state, showed several positive development. Based on their observations and consistent with the findings of credible independent observer groups with wider deployment across the state, we welcome several encouraging signs of a positive democratic process, the commission said. It identified the opening poll units as scheduled in many locations, the commitment of security personnel to maintaining order, and the effective implementation of electoral procedures by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as among the positive developments recorded during the election. The UK also commended the voters for their participation, patience, and resilience throughout the exercise. Quote, most of all, we are encouraged by the patient resilience and participation demonstrated by voters throughout the day, it said. The commission, however, said it observed isolated incidents that generated tensions before and during the election and identified voter interference, including vote buying across party lines, as a significant challenge. It also raised concerns about access to polling facilities for persons living with disabilities and elderly voters, as well as overcrowding arising from the speed and limited availability of BVAS devices for voter accreditation. We encourage the relevant institutions to review these issues carefully and draw lessons, including from the recommendations of credible organizations like the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Rooms that strengthen public accountability, confidence, transparency, and accountability. That strengthen public confidence, transparency, and accountability, the commission noted. The commission said, the British High Commission said, the lessons from the Osun election should be applied to subsequent elections and particularly the 2027 general elections. It noted that off-cycle elections benefited from the availability of additional personnel and resources that might be more difficult to replicate during the nationwide elections. As Nigeria looks ahead to the 2027 general elections, we note that off-cycle elections benefit from the availability of additional personnel and resources that may be more difficult to replicate at nationwide scale, it said. The commission nevertheless expressed hope that the Osun experience would contribute to improvements capable of strengthening the integrity, inclusiveness, and credibility of future elections. The United Kingdom remains committed to working with Nigeria's electoral institutions, civil society, and other partners to support peaceful, transparent, inclusive, and credible elections, and to strengthen the democratic institutions that underpin them. It said, the United Kingdom has made their own assessment, has given their own findings as regards to the just concluded Saturday, August 15th governorship election in Osun State. Saying that one of the things that they identified that the INEC, the government, the political actors should work on, ones on vote buying, BVAS lapses. So these are the things that the United Kingdom government has identified. Vote buying. The problem is vote buying in the country, because vote buying did not. I think it was in 2015 that we started seeing this vote buying of a thing. I think it was in 2016 that we started experiencing or witnessing or seeing party agents as I'm still yet to understand what that how can we stoop so low. Okay, what led to this madness? This thing called vote buying. How did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get here? I think it was in early 2015, that we started, seeing this vote buying started manifesting, that party agent would boldly approach electorates, approach voters, and offer them money. Yes, despite the fact that it is a crime in the 2026 Electoral Act, it is a crime for individuals to offer money to voters, to electorate. But one of the things that we can do, this is my own suggestion, okay, because it can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. It can't be immediately eradicated. It can be stopped, but it can be minimized. So I want to suggest that to curb vote buying, I think that before any party agent, okay, approaches polling units, this party agent ought to have been searched. It is because most of the polling units are porous. There is no exit and there is no entry. Okay, there is no defined. It is not a cubicle. It is not. It's an open space. Okay, so I want to suggest to the authorities, the regulatory agencies, which is the INEC, the authorities, the stakeholders themselves, that one of the ways that can be used to curb vote buying is that, because these people which are party agents, the people that come with money, are party agents, members of political party. So I want to suggest that the security around the polling units, okay, the security around the polling units should be beefed up. Now, how can that happen? That can happen, by the way, in such a way that the security agencies, if you don't have business in that polling unit, if you are not assigned, if your party did not assign you to that polling unit, you should not be seen around this polling units. And also, before any party agents accredited for the inspection of that election, before any party agent assigned to that polling unit, before they step into the surrounding, into the perimeter of that ward, of that unit, they should be thoroughly searched by the security agencies. On no account should any party member, any party agent who is not assigned to a particular polling unit, on no account should those party agents be found within the perimeter of that polling unit. Okay, because it's these are one of the ways I think that can curb vote buying. Of course, it cannot be stopped totally, but it can minimize. It can be minimized. All right, it can be minimized. So I want to suggest, this is my suggestion, that security agencies should be tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that any party agent who is not assigned to that particular polling unit that the security agencies are stationed, no party agent should be found there. They should be asked to go. And also, before they even come there or while they are there, they should be searched. Okay, they should be searched. At least what you should be found with as a party agent is your tag. Okay, your accredited tag, maybe a piece of paper, a barrel, or something, yeah. But allowing party agent with bags of money, with bags, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. So the security agencies should take note of this. They should take note of this, and also, yes, it is understandable that when voters might have carried out their vote or don't cast their vote, it is advisable that they remain there, but they should not be in a way whereby interacting with party agents. They should not interact with party agents. Okay, they should not interact with party agents. Party agents have no business with people that are voting on that day. The only business that party agents have is, yes, they can observe the voting process. The only business that the party agent has is when election might have been concluded in that polling unit. When election might have been concluded in that polling unit, and the coalition sorting of ballot papers, to all the respected parties that are participating in that election. They can watch. The party agent can watch the counting of votes. The party agent can watch the sorting of of ballot papers to each of the political parties, and also the process of taking down the number of votes on the form EC8A, which is the voting register. So I think these are one of the activities that would require the presence, the vigilance, the presence of party agent, because they need to defend their vote as well. Yes, the electorate might be watchful, but the party agent too, attacks to defend their vote. So these are few, because as a party agent, you don't have to be to be there throughout the voting process, throughout the exercise. So one of the time when the presence of party agents are needed in any polling unit, number one, yes, during the voting, when the voting is being on, and also after voting might have been concluded, the sorting of ballot papers, scoring, imputing the scores, in the form EC8, which will be given to them at the end of the day for them to sign, and also ensuring that the result on that particular polling unit is pasted on the wall, and it correlates with what they have, it corresponds with what they have. So security agencies, they need to be beefed up they need to be taxed with that responsibility, that any party agent assigned to this polling unit, to the polling unit, they should be searched. They should not come with any form of bag, any form of money or whatsoever. Please, we need to put a stop to this vote buying. It's an insult. It is an insult. Where in this world that you hear that people are being bribed to vote for a particular party, a particular candidate? It is only in Nigeria that vote buying started. Vote buying and vote trading. Okay, and also another thing again that can be is for the leaders to do what is expected of them to do. When leaders perform poorly, weaponizing poverty, using poverty as a weapon for an election, so this is what you get. All right, so that is the part of those people for on how to curb vote buying. And also the United Kingdom did also comment that yes, the conduct of the August 15 governorship election was at least near perfection. Okay, it neared perfection, but because it was just an off-cycle election, that was why INEC were able to carry out some level of achievement, some level of perfection. But what about the general election? That is the concern. So the issue of personnel, is also one of the things that INEC should consider. The issue of personnel, we have tens of thousands of polling units across the country. How would the Independent National Electoral Commission be able to make sure that they have adequate officials in all the polling units come 2027? Because based on my understanding, I think the presidential election, the 2027 general election will kick off in January. Yes, based on my understanding, I stand to be corrected. January and February, because there are always two phases to the general election. First, it is the presidential election and the state houses of assembly election, I guess. Then after that, the National Assembly. Then after that, the governorship election and the state houses of assembly election. Okay, if I get my knowledge on that election right. So INEC would need personnel. Okay, another thing again that the United Kingdom raised is INEC device, the BVAS, the Bi-Modal Voters Accreditation System, BVAS. Okay, instead of having one BVAS, allocated to one polling unit, why can't you have two? Because one might malfunction. These are electronics. You don't depend fully on one electronic gadget, particularly in a project such as a general election, such as election. Even mobile phones malfunction. When you depend so much, on a phone, on a device, it can break down, it can fail you, it can slow you down. So I think INEC should start looking. Maybe it might not be in 2027 election, because I want to believe that budget, INEC has received, the money to execute the 2027 general election. But they should be looking, forward. They should be looking at future elections, whereby it is not only just one BVAS that will be used, that will be used for a particular polling. We can have like two BVAS. If one malfunctions or if one battery runs down, they can be using the backup BVAS, so as to facilitate, to fast track voting process. So that's a good one that the United Kingdom has raised, a good observation there. All right, let's go to the second. It is 22 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. This is Overt Radio. We are broadcasting to you live from the city of Lagos. Lagos is a center of excellence. This is the Breakfast Show. You can go to our various social media platforms on X, Overt Radio Live, on Instagram, Overt News, on TikTok, overt.radio.lagos. We are currently streaming on YouTube, Overt Radio Live, to engage with our content, our live shows, our interviews here, live interview here in the studio, our talk shows here in the studio, and all our programs in the studio. All right, let's go to the next headline. And also remember that the Breakfast Show is being brought to you by Lifeback Pharmacy and Stores Limited. All right, the next story, still on the Sun newspaper. Osun election, APC rejects Adeleke's victory, begins audit of results. Osun election, APC rejects Adeleke's victory, begins audit of results. The All Progressive Congress APC has rejected the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC declaration of Ademola Adeleke as winner of the Osun State governorship election, saying it believes the governor did not secure the highest number of valid votes. Okay, the party's Director General of the Osun State governorship campaign, Oluyole disclosed this while speaking on Arise News, saying the APC had commenced an audit of the election process before reaching a final position. He said, and I quote, "We did not agree with the declaration of INEC. That's our position for now. We believe he did not score the highest valid votes," Oki said. He said the party had directed its agents to submit copies of Forms EC8A, EC8B, and EC8C to its secretariat for inspection and review. Quote, "When you have a project of this nature with the outcome announced by INEC, we will not be in a haste, nor shall we be under pressure without doing the needful. The needful that we need to do is to evaluate the process, get all the records, review the process, and then form an opinion," he said. Said the APC would also examine issues arising before and during the election against the Electoral Act and other relevant laws before announcing its position. He said there are a lot of issues before us. There are a lot of issues for determination, even on a pre-election basis. He said, he added, "Until we do that and form our opinion, we won't be able to go further to say anything on this." On claims of internal divisions within the APC, said disagreements were not peculiar to the party, pointing to similar disputes within the Accord Party. If you are talking about internal divisions, even the Accord Party itself is divided. The chairman of the Accord Party endorsed our candidates openly and publicly and publicly within a political party. Dispute and misunderstanding are abound, but the fact remains that the party comes together at the polls to ensure victory. Okay, so it's kind of a long story. Alright, let me check other. When people allow, okay, on allegations of federal might, okay, dismiss the suggestion that the APC's control of the federal government give it an advantage in the election, insisting that politics is local. When people allow to the fact that our party is the ruling party and talk about federal might, it doesn't work like that. Politics is local. Yes, politics is local, but the president, all right, so yes, the APC has responded, has reacted to the Saturday election and also Sunday's declaration of Ademola Adeleke as winner of that election, saying that that Adeleke did not secure let me check that again, did not secure the highest number of valid votes. Adeleke did not secure the highest number of valid votes. So who secured the highest number of valid votes? Is it your candidate? The margin that Adeleke got, from your candidate is about 66,000. It's about 66,000. So I want to say that for peace to win in Osun State, yes, APC, they are free, to do a review of the election. They are free to review the election, but that shouldn't be, that shouldn't cause confusion in Osun State. You are free to do a review of the election, but INEC has given his verdict. INEC is the one that is authorized, to say it is. INEC is the only electoral umpire, is the only body that has the final say when it comes to election, except if you want to go to court to contest that. But the Independent National Electoral Commission, charged with the responsibility of conducting election and announcing winners of election, they have the final say. Okay, whatever you are saying, whether you are reviewing, if you like, go and bring external auditor to audit the results given to your party agent. It is still INEC. The result has been declared and it has been vetted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. So I want to urge the APC. Yes, you have the right to review the result, to review the election, but INEC has spoken, and I believe that whatever findings that you get, it should not be another trouble, for Osun State, because Osun State has gone through a lot, this before the election, this week's. Osun State has gone through a lot. So I want to urge the APC, you are free to do a review, you are free to carry out an audit on the election, but whatever your findings, it should not be something that will bring disunity, something that will bring another political turmoil, something that will create division. In Osun, your president, your leader, your national leader, which is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has congratulated Ademola Adeleke, and I want to believe that yes, that there is a body in the APC that looks into these things. But when the leader speaks, I think that when the head speaks, I think the parts of the body should be able to be in alignment with where the head is going. So APC, you can go ahead to review the election, but like I said, I still want to say it, whatever your opinion is, whatever your findings, accept defeat. Okay, the APC has not officially yet congratulated Ademola Adeleke, has not congratulated Accord. This is what we talk about every day here. Nigerian politics should not be a politics of bitterness. Okay, it shouldn't be a politics of bitterness. There was no place in Osun State that people said that their votes did not count. There was no polling unit that people say that they were not allowed to vote. It was only a few incidents, only a few individuals, particularly that elderly man, whose face was not captured by the beavers. who was not accredited to vote. So apart from that and few other cases, no polling units that I'm sure of, that I know of, people complain that they were not given the opportunity to vote. Everybody who came to vote, they casted their vote. Okay, and all the observers, the accredited observers, even if the United Kingdom can come out with its report, did not dispute the election. If the United Kingdom did not dispute the election, if observers did not dispute the outcome of that election, then so I don't know what else the APC they are looking. I don't know what else the APC is looking for, to discredit the declaration of Ademola Adeleke. Okay, all right. So let us see another thing again that the APC raised. Another thing again that the APC raised. Okay, also defended the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission freezing of Osun government account shortly before the election, saying the agency was performing its lawful duty. He, however, commended President Bola Tinubu for directing that the account be unfrozen. When you have a constitutional body, a lawful agency of government like the EFCC performing their lawful duty, I don't see anything wrong in that. I am not the EFCC. The EFCC must have their reasons for freezing the account and of the Osun State government. He maintained that the issue was separate from the APC's position on the election and declined to comment further, saying he did not have the fact of the matter. On allegations, okay, I've said this. Okay, allegations of failure might. The takeaway from this exercise is the level of turnouts. This election shows that Nigerian voters are more aware and conscious of their civic duty. They need to perform. Okay, so let me take another quote from him. When you look at this in totality, you can see the failures of government glaring in the citizens' faces, he said. He urged the public to allow the APC time to complete its review, promising that the party would return with its findings after examining the electoral records and processes. All right, let's go to the next story. Okay, still on the Sun newspaper. It is 33 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. Still on Sun newspaper. Osun election. Dele Momodu says Tinubu APC now fearful of 2027. This is coming from Dele Momodu, saying that Tinubu and APC are fearful of 2027. A chieftain of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), Dele Momodu, has said President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress are now fearful of the 2027 general elections following the outcome of the just concluded Osun State governorship election. Momodu made the remarks on Monday while featuring on Channels Television's Politics Today, where he argued that the outcome of the election had sent the wrong signal to the APC ahead of 2027. He maintained that Tinubu, rather than the APC, lost the Osun governorship election. Momodu also described the APC governorship candidate Bola Oyebamiji and former governor of the state Gboyega Oyetola as name droppers who relied on Tinubu's names during the electioneering campaign in Osun State. He said, without any doubts whatsoever, he, that is Tinubu, lost. Who was Oyebamiji in the scheme of things? Who was Oyetola in the scheme of things? They were all name droppers, name dropping Tinubu everywhere, and that is why a man said, who said on full camera that they should kill his fellow citizens, could walk in and out of a police station as if all was well. Okay, and the reason I would tell you is the fear of January 2027. They are afraid that the Osun election will send a wrong signal to the electorate across Nigeria. In Osun today, people are saying whether the governor supports Tinubu or not, they would support their own preferred candidate based on merits. I am happy with what Davido did with social media, making sure that they were aware. He was updating them regularly. I think that also saved the day. Otherwise, till midnight, at a stage, they stopped counting the votes, and they were going to do their abracadabra as usual. Yes, that was from Dele Momodu, saying that the aftermath of Osun State governorship election has sent fear that Tinubu and the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, saying that they are afraid of 2027 general elections. Well, Dele Momodu has the right to say what he want to say. He is also a political figure in the country, so he has a right to give his own opinion. This is just his own opinion. Whether Tinubu or the APC, they are afraid of 2027 because of what happened in Osun State on Saturday and Sunday, does it really matter? Well, what I have to say is this. Yes, he also made mention that the likes of Oyetola and the APC governorship candidate in Osun State, Bola Oyebamiji, they are name droppers, that they were depending on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, this is also a lesson. That is why sometimes godfatherism in politics cannot take you far. Godfatherism in politics cannot take you far. The likes, Dele Momodu might be right to say that without Tinubu, the likes of Boyega Oyetola and the APC candidate Oyebamiji might not make such might not be well known, might not get that kind of result that he got in Osun State, which is to an extent right. Because this is politics. This is APC. Tinubu is a kind of individual that wherever he is, he wants to control, everything in that ecosystem. So Dele Momodu has the right to say what he wants to say, and also that is why it is sometimes not advisable to depend solely on godfatherism, because godfatherism in politics cannot take you far. It cannot take you far. It can only take you. It is limited, because godfatherism in politics is limited. Because what if your godfather, leaves this planet, leaves? What are you going to depend on? And we have seen cases in this country where politicians fail to continue with what they are doing. Take for instance the likes of Desmond Elliot, who was the Lagos State lawmaker Desmond Elliot, who depended solely on his godfather, Femi Gbajabiamila. But when Femi Gbajabiamila turns his back against him, Desmond Elliot politically crumbled. He couldn't stand because of the face-off he had with his godfather, Femi Gbajabiamila. So, one interesting thing about that election in Osun State was that Adeleke did not have any godfather. Okay, Adeleke backbone was the people of Osun State. Even yesterday,